I'm Scott Grove, and I'm here in Indiana at the Mark Adams School of Woodworking, and I'm teaching a cold metal resin casting class, and I'd like to share some of that with you. Why would you spend 100 hours making a beautiful piece of furniture only to go out and purchase a $2 drawer pull and then show it off to your neighbors and have them come in and say, hey, I got that same pull in my bathroom cabinet, right? You wouldn't want to do that. And that's a common problem. So what I like to do is show you how in 30 minutes or less that you can make a mold and make a casting of your widget that will look and feel just like the real thing, bronze or copper or aluminum. So I'd like to demonstrate how we do that. First of all, let me show you a variety of things you can do. You can carve a handle, a wooden handle, and make a mold of it, and the mold will pick up the finest grain, and when cast, it'll look like sort of bronze wood, which is really cool. This handle here is a good example. Another thing that it's really good for is replacement hardware. If you have an antique piece of furniture that's missing one pole or one decorative finial or something, you can take a mold of an existing piece of hardware and cast a new element and match the old patina. This is a bronze pole I did for a media cabinet, and here are some applications or applique that I did. And these, when cast in the bronze powder, will buff up and take a patina just like the real thing, bronze. You can create your own embellishment out of anything, literally. You can use clay, you can use a found object like a pine cone or bark. You can also combine elements where here I've carved a pole and I added beads in these little voids to just add some interesting texture. I also left a void for a mother of pearl inlay to be added after the casting to add another element. What I like to do is also take natural pieces. Here's a leaf that I cast. In addition, you can combine elements. For example, this piece of bark came off one of the oldest trees in the world, and I then encased it in a wooden frame, and now I have this sort of wonderful texture in the center as a wooden pole. Here I took a large ball bearing and I encased it in clay to sort of make this sort of hatching nut, if you will, and added an interesting texture on the outside. A lot of people will call me a screwball, so I actually made a screwball. Just took a ball of clay and put a bunch of screws in it and made that as a cabinet pole. One of my students had a button collection from her grandmother. How sweet is that? So she took all the buttons and attached them to this sort of half-round dowel and was going to use it as a section and then mite these together for a picture frame. So there would be a bronze picture frame made from her grandmother's buttons. Which also means you can take memorabilia things. For example, the pine cone here. I found at a hike with my wife and I, and picked it up and made a casting of this pine cone, also from the largest tree in the world. Another unique element here is used for signing your work. So this woman, Kelly Parker, a wonderful, talented woodworker, student of mine, she is into dragonflies, and so she made this little a medallion with this dragonfly on here, and she could then drill a hole and embed this on the side of her piece, and that will be her signature from now on. So you create these little bronze plaques. You could have your initials or a little motif like this. Just a great accent to just elevates your work to a whole nother level. Here I've also taken bark off of a tree. I took a mold. This is what a flexible mold looks like, and made a casting of bark, and boy, that looks like real bark. So this is a great thing to do. In addition, for furniture, you can use it for repairing carved sections. Maybe you don't have the skills to recarve an element, or in this case there was a very ornate plaster 1850 frame, and you've all seen them, they're very embellished in gold leaf. So instead of trying to recarve it, what I did is I took a mold off of a good corner, cast the new element, and then spliced in the damaged corner, and then went ahead and gold leafed and gilded the corner and blended the antiquing in. So that's a great use of this casting product. And lastly, of course, you can take body parts. You can take a mold of any part of your body. I know what you're all thinking. And you can create, bronze finger pulls, right? Here's a thumb hook, and here's a thumb drive. So you can have a lot of fun with this process. So let me show you just a little more about what this is all about. I'm going to give you some overviews of the different types of molds, different type of mold material, different types of casting, how to cast, and then we'll do a few. I'll show you a very simple method of how to make a mold in 30 minutes or less, and you'll really be amazed. So let me show you how to do that.